Hi guys, my name is Parham Panah. I'm here to advocate the legalization of smoking. Now, how many deaths do you guys think are a result of smoking per day?
15,000.
15,000?
Yeah.
Any other guesses?
6,000.
1 million.
Well, she was the closest. It's exactly 1,300 according to the Chronic Disease and Tobacco Organization. 1,300 people die per day from smoking. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you have met someone or been around someone that smokes, because 53,800 people die each year from smoking, according to the No Smoke Organization. Now, after doing extensive research and viable fact-finding, I have a detailed analysis on why we should illegalize smoking in its entirety. First off, it has a negative and harmful effect on our body, particularly your lungs and your heart. First off, for your lungs. Your lungs have this hair-like substance called the cilia, which filters out all the dirt, mucus, and gunk you breathe in. Basically, every time an individual smokes, they are destroying their cilia, which puts them at high risk for lung cancer and diseases. Diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's shortness of breath, severe chronic cough, and chest tightness. That in consonance with the American Lung Association, 80% of all COPD deaths are a direct result from smoking. Now this link between smoking and the harmful causes it has on lungs is quite serious, but it's not just on the lungs. It's also on the heart. Now, a smoker's heart typically has to work harder in order to circulate blood throughout the body. That is because their blood becomes stickier and fatter, and they can't really circulate it and it becomes stagnant. So every time an individual smokes, they add to that stickiness and that fatness, which adds it to building up in your arteries. Like the blood doesn't circulate well enough, and sometimes it even gets to a point where the blood is built up in arteries where you can't get blood from your heart to your legs, feet, and brain. And that raises cholesterol, and in worst case scenarios, it might lead to heart attack or stroke. So our physical bodies aren't the only things that are negatively affected by smoking. Our planet as well, that we live in, that we're all about, is affected by our misdemeanor. And basically, smoking cigarettes has the tobacco indicator of PM 2.5. And that basically is the overall haziness and visibility of smoke on our atmosphere, on the world. In other words, it's just air pollution. Now, according to an article from Rachel Lipstein of Yale College, a 2004 study conducted by researchers at Italy's National Cancer Institute compared the output of 3 lit cigarettes and a diesel engine. After just 30 minutes of continued exposure in the controlled garage, the scientists found that cigarettes released 10 times the particulate matter. What this basically is saying is that every 3 cigarettes someone smokes is pretty much equivalent to a truck of some sort, anything that's like diesel driven, any engines that are running on diesel. So I want you guys to put this into perspective. I want you guys to visualize how many times throughout your day you see a truck going by. Because like I mentioned earlier, they're oftentimes run on diesel. Now, every 1 truck is equivalent to just 3 cigarettes. 3 cigarettes. And we mentioned earlier that people smoke. And they don't smoke just 1 time, they smoke multiple times a day. On average, an adult smoker smokes 19 cigarettes a day. 19. So think about it. How many people smoke 19 times a day? They're harming our planet more than these diesel trucks are. They're adding to the worst cause scenario, worst possible thing of air pollution. All this. Now, not just air pollution is affected, our air, our atmosphere, other things are also negatively affected. Our oceans, our animals, and our entire ecosystem are negatively affected by smoking. Excuse me. People have to realize that just because people smoke is not, and the secondhand smoke goes into the air is not enough. all the times when you see the cigarette butts on the floor, where do you think they end up? They end up in our sewers that lead to the ocean. They affect marine life. And most often than not, they get washed up onto the sea, the shore. And animals like crabs or lobsters, or even people walking on the beach who have dogs, dig this stuff up. And they consume it. There are all those dogs that lick it up and consume it. They're all negatively affected. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not just people or our atmosphere. It's our life, our way of living that in its entirety is negatively affected by smoking. Now, what we have to do is, as a community, as an individual even, we have to stop buying cigarettes. We have to start boycotting it. On an individual basis, each one of you has that capabilities. For those of you who smoke or don't smoke, or people who know someone that smokes, if you're able to raise some sort of awareness and able to persuade them or show them the negative repercussions that smoking has on the body, on the planet, on every way of life, maybe they'll think twice the next time they smoke. Maybe they'll take it into consideration every time they light up their cigarette. But overall, we can all start personally with the people closest to us, with our friends and family. If you know someone that smokes, maybe tell them, hey, don't smoke because of these reasons. And then maybe you can spread the word through that. You can tell them this, and this are the bad reasons why you shouldn't smoke, and they might start understanding more. But I don't want you guys to be afraid of change, because change oftentimes starts from an individual. And it's not a grand people getting together. It starts when someone has a dream. And Harriet Tubman said this best. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have with you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach the stars to change the world.